2 Back in time. In this story, future Gohan survives his fight with the androids. He goes back in time with Trunks and the rest is history. Chapter 1 Gohan's New Arm. Gohan woke up in bed. Is he going to be alright? Asked Trunks. Yes, he's going to be just fine, said Bulma. He's lost one of his arms. It's a good thing we found the ruins of Dr. Gero's lab. Using the various parts of the prototype androids I have managed to replace Gohan's arm. Gohan grunted. He looked down to see a metallic arm. Gohan, can you hear me? Asked Bulma. How does the arm feel? Gohan moved the metallic fingers. I can move them, said Gohan. How's your arm feeling? Asked Bulma. I'm getting a little sensation, but not much, said Gohan. It feels strange. You'll get used to it, said Bulma. Gohan looked down at his new arm. It was a robot's arm with the energy absorption hole in the palm. How do you feel? Asked Bulma. I'm okay, said Gohan. Tell me, how is that time machine of yours coming along? It's almost ready, Bulma smiled. I am building it big enough for both of you, Gohan gasped. Bulma, you didn't have to do that. I just thought it would be a good idea if Trunks went so he would have a chance to meet his father. Trunks hasn't made the transformation into a Super Saiyan yet. So I thought it'd be a good idea if you went with him. Trunks? Where are you going? Trunks was jogging out of the room. If I'm going to make that transformation, I'm going to have to find a place where I can do some training. Wait, Trunks, said Gohan as he was sitting up from his bed. Let me get dressed and I'll come with you. I have to try out this new arm of mine. Later that day. The energy absorption arm works great, said Trunks as he threw another ball of ki at Gohan. Gohan absorbed the ball with his new hand easily. This is incredible. I wonder why Dr. Gero didn't use this on the final versions. Much later. Trunks screamed as his hair stood up and turned bright red and his eyes turned white. A crater had formed all around his body. He continued to scream as his hair stood up a little more and turned a bright yellow. Suddenly Trunks stopped screaming and fell to the ground exhausted. What am I doing wrong? Trunks gasped. Why can't I change? You need the motivation in order to change, said Gohan. A good way you get the motivation is to have an emotional breakdown of anger and sorrow like I did when my father passed away. You and Mom are the only ones I have left, said Trunks. I can't bear to lose either one of you. There must be another way to get that motivation. Trunks stood up and screamed again. An aura of bright yellow energy covered his body. His hair stood up and turned bright red as his eyes turned white once again. Trunks screamed again as his hair turned bright yellow. He could see a vision of Gohan and his mother being tortured by the androids. Trunks screamed again as he could feel his power level growing. He could see his mother again. She had been tortured by the androids into giving birth prematurely. He could see the baby trying to get away from the androids, but he couldn't outrun them. The androids blasted the baby, but Trunks could feel the baby still struggling. He screamed and he could feel his power growing further. One final scream and Trunks completely transformed. His hair stood up with a gold color and he was 50 times as strong as before. He had finally done it. Trunks grabbed his fists with rage. Veins exploded out as a wave of energy shook him. His muscles involuntarily flexed out. He gave out a deep groan. Letting go of his emotions, horrible thoughts of his slaughtered loved ones surrounded him, raced across his mind. Gohan shouted with joy.